Today we're going to read a passage of Happy Life, psychographed by Divaldo de Franco, by the spirit of Joanna de Angelis. Stop complaining all the time so that you will not become a persona non grata. Keeping company with complainers is very unpleasant. They find fault with everything and they want the world to revolve around them in conformance with their way of seeing things. Since you cannot change others, you must work tirelessly on your self-improvement. If everything displeases you and you find yourself complaining all the time, watch out. It is an attitude of someone who is out of sorts with life and him or herself. You must tolerate yourself and learn to be tolerant of others.
Great message, by the way. Amazing message. And for all of us, right? But let's kind of take a deep breath and now, for a few moments, elevate our thoughts and say, Mother, Father, God, Divine Creator. Thank you very much for all that has been given to us. Thank you for this life, for all the experiences we have right now, even for those that bring us challenge and force us to grow. May we be aware of your presence in our lives, in the very little things. And may we, as time goes, become more and more aware of your love and your compassion to every single one of us, the living beings of earth, our home, in this universe you created. And with that in mind, we ask permission to open our spiritual Sunday this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, thank you. Okay guys, so today is sort of a special day because it's the last meeting of the year, right? And so we are going to stop for a few weeks, right? So people have their time to celebrate, right, with their families, and go through, the topic what we're going to be talking today. Kind of goes like this. We talk all the time, right, that this is not our only life, that we are spirits, we are souls, whatever you're going to call. We're not the body. Although we look like the body, I don't know about you, but if you look in the mirror, you see a body. And that's what we identify ourselves, right? And that's true. Right now, that's what happens. That's how I see myself. But that's the awakening of spirituality is when you look at that mirror and you look at that body and you see, okay, this is just clothing. This is a transitory experience. I right now have this body. But the timing is somewhat short, although, especially with my younger audience, it's hard to talk to them that maybe someday they're going to be 30, 40. I told them one day I was 15. They don't believe it, right? So it happens to us. We get old, right? Time passes, right? And what happens to us is that we don't believe we go away. We believe that we're very close for science to discover the soul or the spirit. Actually, they have lots of evidence. We do that in our study groups. We point to all the evidences. There's many, many, many that point that the mind doesn't die, right? But we don't have an instrument yet that measures that proves that, like we had with microscopes when we discovered bacteria. Hundreds of years ago, we didn't believe bacteria existed. We thought, because nobody could see them. Microscope solved the problem. You just look at it and you see it. Nobody can argue about that anymore. I think we're close to that for souls. Eventually, we're going to have machines that will look and say, oh, here's a soul. Here's the spiritual part we all have. But because we don't have that right now, we still think this is very important for us to do right now, to know about it. Because if you don't die, a lot of things changes in life. If your life is much longer than what the body does, than what the body lives, right? A lot of stuff in your life should be thought about from the longer term perspective. On the shorter term, if you just think about this experience, a lot of decisions may be irrational. Like, for instance, not caring about people, right? People, sometimes they help us, sometimes they don't. But for my immediate interest, sometimes people are not that important. I would even say that it's very rational to just think about money sometimes, because that way gets me pleasure, gets me the stuff I want. People are less important if you think about a single life. But if you think about a life that never ends, all the stuff I have right now is temporary. But who's not temporary? People. Because if I don't die, if I have a soul, and if I keep living, so do you. So we're not working on relationships that are temporary. We're not working with things that are going to go away. We're working with beings like us that will live as long as we can think about. So that changes everything. Then that changes pretty much everything we do, interact with each other. Because we're building treasures that truly won't go away. Right? If you develop a loving relationship, what's the value of that? What is the value? If you develop a hating relationship, what's the value of that? How much that's pushing you back if it never goes away? Then, with that awareness, you look into Christianity and all the teachings of Jesus, then they make sense. Because Jesus told us, love thy neighbor as yourself. Why? Because you're eternal beings. He even went further away. Even your enemy, even the people that annoy you, even the people that actually cause harm to you. He told even those, you should love them at what's possible, in a sense that you do the best for them. You don't get involved in their destruction. It doesn't mean they're going to be you can be tender or act with care for them because they hate you, but you don't return the evil they cause to you, the destruction they bring to you, right? That's a very difficult logic, right? For most people, when you deal with Christianity, right? If you think that you should love the people that hate you, this is insane. But it only makes sense when you see life through a longer perspective. Because this person that hates you right now and causes you so much harm, and maybe, who knows, one day we'll wake up. One day we'll see that what he or she is doing might not have been the best. And like you and like me and like everybody else, is also a child of God. So that's why in the long term, the game is played only one with love. Because in the longer term, we're going to be loving beings. How long? Well, don't know. Why? Because it's choice. It's choice. It's choice. It's our choice. And don't ask me why God gave us choice. But he did. He did. No matter who you are, God gave you choice. You choose. We choose every day how I interact with my brother, my sister, how I interact with my family, how co-workers. We make decisions every day. Right? You have a voice in your conscious, in your head that tells you, which I think you have many, but you have always a voice of consciousness that's trying to guide you to a place of peace, a place of growth. But we don't listen sometimes to it. It's our choice because we have other priorities. So spiritual education for us is to strengthen the voice that brings the balance, that always tries to give us the perspective of what's better in the situation. And then comes the other hookup with the teachings of Christianity, which is this straight door. When Jesus was talking about the narrow door, right? Why the door is narrow? If God loves us, the door should be wide open. And we should all fall inside spiritual growth. The teaching of the narrow door is just because out of all the possibilities you have in your life, and there's so many, right? There's so many things you can do. The ones that lead you to a better life are narrow. The choices are many, right? We could all be in Vegas right now, right? We could all be having fun somewhere else, right? And we chose to be talking about spirituality right here, right now. I know it might not be the easiest path. Ask my kids, right? So, but we are. And although we might think this is very silly, the seeds are coming to our heart. And how long it takes for those seeds to grow, who knows? But they're there. God planted the seeds in all of us, every single one of us. You don't know how old of a soul I am. Maybe this is maybe the first life I'm actually engaging with spirituality seriously. Maybe many, many other lives I didn't, and I decided to take other paths, right? But the seeds are in our hearts, and this is the other difference. Is universal. God created all the laws of nature that are universal. They are the same for you and for me. There's no difference among us. Gravity doesn't affect you different than it affects me. It's all universal. We're all bound to the same universe, to the same infinite love that comes from God. We don't understand it yet because we don't understand the universe. We have a partial understanding of the universe. As we expand, as we grow, as we become more wise, we're going to see that God's love manifests in ways we don't even begin to understand yet. But it's coming little by little as we understand, right, the laws of the universe right now, right? And today, the topic, the thing I want to talk to you about is, although we talk about that all the time, this is teachings we talk about all the time. There's a moment that's unique for every single one of us. This is the moment of awakening, right? You guys are gonna hear, we're all gonna hear spiritual teachings, and we may have heard them many, many times, many, many lives, right? But there's the moment of click. There's the moment of awareness. There's some famous moments if you're familiar with the gospel. The Paul of Tarsus, right? The moment he was going to Damascus, the road to Damascus, and he got blind, saw Jesus, and he flipped, understood the teachings. Or Mary of Magdalene as well, as when she saw Jesus and let go of all the life she had before that to try to follow that man that talked about love and compassion and so on. And we are going to have those moments. We are going to have the moments we will wake up. When is that moment? We don't know. But one good thing about the end of the year is the renewal. Every year we have a moment of transition where we have a few weeks to prepare, and we even call it the new year. We have a new year coming. What I like about that is always gives us a transition, a sense of renewal, right? Even if that year that passed was not the best and things happen in ways we don't really maybe appreciate, we are given the opportunity to renew, right? All the teachings we talked about, they will be always there for us, no matter what, right? Because the universe is waiting for us. Everything's here. The jury's not out. The universe is here, manifesting every time. But the moment we transition is ours, is unique to every single one of us. The moment we become aware and we start bringing that to our lives is unique to us. And what I like about this time of year is that invitation, right? This invitation to bring us so we can look into ourselves, not others. It was the beautiful message Marina read in the beginning. We cannot change others. We can't. We can be a part of their change if they want to, but we cannot change anybody. But we can change ourselves. That's who we really have to establish the full control. Really, the transformation, the spiritual transformation happens in me. in others when they choose. And that's the invitation, I think, of every new year when I think about it. It's what kind of transformation I want to do, I want to implement, I want to make it happen in myself. And others are a consequence of their own choices. Right? And that's the invitation I think we should be very aware of as we get close to another opportunity of a new year coming for all of us. That was what I would like to talk to you today.